thing is, until you can erase 3 Februaries, shut up. Bang! Quality over quantity. LeBron has beaten some of the best competition in NBA history. He's the GOAT emoji. I will not cuss. I will not cuss. I will not swear. I will not swear.
Where sports is the base, life and fun are the results. This is the Brian Snow Show.
Oh, excuse me. There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Brian Snow Show, where sports is the base. I beg your pardon, and life is the result. I'm going to talk to a couple of really, really great friends of mine. Rod Pedersen, the man in charge and the host of the Rod Pedersen Show. He'll join me here in a few moments. And Clark Monroe, the super producer of said show. He'll join me at the bottom of the hour. I had a question sent to me of why I started this particular show. Well, I wanted to do something in the afternoons as well as in the mornings. And I just wondered what it would be like to have a show with my namesake on it. Now, I had this planned for mornings, but at the time I planned it, it didn't sound right. At least to me, it didn't sound right. So I shelved it and I converted it to what you all hear now in the morning, Snowman in the Morning. And I don't know what hit me, but at the top of this year, 2023, I figured the heck with it. I'll try it. Well, I've gotten a little bit of a following for it, as well as Snowman Multimedia. And of course, the morning show is gaining a lot more of a following. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. Rod West is the first one in this afternoon. He says, "What's up? What's up to you?" Waiting on Rod Pedersen to join me. Here's how I got hooked on the Rod Pedersen Show, and believe me, I'm hooked on. I got hooked on that show. I was in North Carolina. I was in North Carolina, and I was on a break at work. And I was wondering, what could be on. And I just happened to look on Facebook, and I saw this show, and it just got my attention. And I listened to it for the time that I was on break, and the next thing I knew, that same day, I wound up reaching out to this man and saying, "Hey, can I have you on for an interview?" And he said, "Sure." And he and I have been brothers at arms ever since. Here's Rod Pedersen. He joins me right now. Good afternoon, Rod.
How you doing, Snowman? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine. How you doing, man?
I'm doing really well. It said that my device wasn't supported.
Oh, and he just froze.
Me and the Snowman are always compatible. What are you talking about? Right?
But it's weird how we... It's weird how we got hooked up, because I had you on my show, and then a week later I was on yours, and that was 3 years ago.
Come on, that long?
Yes, I consider you a brother. I consider you a friend, and whenever we talk sports, it's always fun. So it's great to have you on.
It's easy. Some would say we're good at what we do. I don't know.
Some would say that, as Rod supports the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Grey Cup was in Saskatchewan this past November. You were there. Talk to me about that experience. What was that like?
It was fun. It was the Canadian Super Bowl, right? So it's a really almost a half century. So it's a big deal, man. All of Canadian football came to Saskatchewan, and it's a beautiful facility. It was the first time we'd hosted that championship in that stadium. I say we because you don't live somewhere for a half century and forget about it the second that you leave. Right. So it was a great game. I'm so forward focused. I'm thinking about NFL playoffs this weekend. So I'm trying to think, what the heck was it? It was Toronto-Winnipeg in the Grey Cup, which I had called in July. I said
you did. I remember the day you called that
Grey Cup, and that's exactly what happened.
I remember you called that matchup. The NFL playoffs are indeed this weekend. Which game are you looking forward to the most? to watching and like really, really breaking down?
You know the answer to that question. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think that I'm going to have to take sleeping medication or something to be sedated. Oh, what? What, man?
I love it. Why are you going to have to take sleeping medication for that game?
Well, I'll probably bet on it. And I would encourage any of your viewers right now to sign up at betregal.net and get a free account and bet away this weekend.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking about the line. The Cowboys are favored by 2.5 going into Tampa to face Tom Brady, a quarterback they've never beaten, ever.
Right.
I don't honestly understand why the Cowboys are favorites on the road, but that's the game that's got me. I'm already tied up in knots, as you can see, and it's 5 days away.
You know the game I'm going to watch. It's going to kick off the wild card.
San Francisco, Seattle.
Yeah, that's San Francisco and Seattle. Frisco's laying 9.5 at home in Santa Clara, and I've had so many people come to me saying, "Well, it's tough to beat a team for a third time."
No, it's not.
Have y'all seen how San Francisco has improved over the course of the season, and the fact that they've won 10 in a row?
You know what? I can't stand that phrase, and I've been around football people my whole life, and it's not about football; it's a common sense thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember, in my time in CFL, we were playing Calgary. We'd beaten them with Saskatchewan here. We'd played them 3 times in the regular season, and we were to play them in the playoffs. And a buddy of mine is a coach on Calgary. He's like, "Well, it's hard to beat a team 4 times in a year." I'm like, "No, it's not.
Right.
None of them are that much better than you." Which is what San Francisco is over Seattle. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. That's a pretty whopping line of 9.5.
I'm not surprised either, and I'm willing to bet that it'll go up before kickoff on Saturday. I know why some people are saying that to me, because they're saying it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a row, and I'm like, have you seen the games? Have you seen how Seattle got mollywopped not once but twice? Second time to clinch the division on Thursday Night Football. I mean, I don't understand that phrase either. And I've been around football 40 plus years. I don't understand that phrase either.
Even with a third string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, they're favored by 9.5 at home.
Yes.
Which tells you another phrase that I like is, this doesn't need to be close. And I don't think it will be. I mean, it's a good story. It's a good story.
Right.
If you like the Seahawks or liked the Seahawks in the Russell Wilson era, and people have very strong opinions on Pete Carroll.
Yes.
For and against. Personally, I like him. I've had friends that have played for him, and they really like him a lot.
Right.
But to see the divorce between Russell Wilson and the Seahawks go the way that it did, that would be a reason to pull for Seattle if you weren't a Russell Wilson fan. But I literally don't care about Russell Wilson or the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm pulling for the 49ers for you.
Yeah, I'm going to wind up putting some cheese on that game, and I am going to go to Bet Regal to make that bet, because I don't see any kind of way Seattle stays close in that game. The only time they stayed close was the first half of the Thursday night game when it was 7-3, and then Seattle coughed up the football, made it 14-3. Niners get the ball coming out of halftime. Purdy to Kittle makes it 21-3, and the game's over by then. I don't see how Seattle keeps this close.
Having said all of that, there's odds maker. Yeah, the upsets happen.
Yes.
And to be honest with you, there's always an upset. I would have to go back to last year's wild card weekend, because there was, if I recall, 2 upsets that weekend, I think. I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
You probably remember. But this ain't going to be one of them.
No, it's not. Any other games you're looking forward to watching this weekend?
Yeah, the Jacksonville game, obviously, because I got a good friend in Henry Burris, is the offensive quality control coach with the Jaguars. So, and I was a Trevor Lawrence fan going back to Clemson.
Yeah,
and I started to hear about Trevor Lawrence even when he was in high school.
Right.
My scout friends were like, "Man, you got to watch this guy." Trevor Lawrence. And so having him almost get ruined by Urban Meyer last year, and then see the renaissance under Doug Pedersen this year, and my guy Hank. I'm pretty big into that game too. I mean, they all have their reasons to watch, right? But I don't care about the LA Chargers. I don't care about them at all. So those are the two games on Saturday, Niners and Jags, that I'll be pulling for, and I see no reason why they shouldn't be able to win.
The one game I want to see a reverse. I want to see the Giants beat the Vikings, because I've said all year the Vikings were frauds, even given their record. And the Giants nearly beat them in Minnesota 4 weeks ago, and I want to see them complete the job this time.
Well, this is the Vikings that we were told were coming,
right?
And there's a lot of talent there. Kirk Cousins didn't do this alone, but no quarterback does other than Tom Brady, to be honest, right? But Justin Jefferson is, when you talk about breaking Chris Carter's single season all-time records there in Minnesota. This guy's doing something. I guess it's single season, but they're a very talented football team. But you can't. That might be the upset. I think the Vikings are favored by 4, but the Giants got something going under Daboll. Yeah, obviously, him and Doug Pedersen probably favorites to be coach of the year. I haven't seen the odds on that, but that should be a good game. And hey, we do have to spend a minute on the Dolphins, because I'm here in South Florida. And the fortunes of this fan base, man, are up and down like a toilet seat.
Yes.
Just exhausting, to the point where I had to turn the radio off the last couple of weeks, because they didn't even think the Dolphins were going to make the playoffs on that 5-game losing streak. I'm talking about the media here and a lot of the fans. And lo and behold, here they are going to Buffalo in a game that they're going to be down to their third-string quarterback too, just like the 49ers. And you tell me, because you know Mike McDaniel from San Francisco days, if the 49ers are on their third-string quarterback and favored to win, why can't the Dolphins?
Well, I'll tell you why, because the entire media in Miami is so hooked on Tua, and they don't understand that Tua's health has to come first. But there's no reason why the Dolphins can't use their third-string quarterback to pull off a win. But at the same time, they got to do it on the road. They got to do it at Rich Stadium in Orchard Park. This is the playoffs. Anything can happen to anyone. I mean, hell, we got beat in 1990 by Jeff Hostetler, backup quarterback for the Giants, and the Giants beat us, the 49ers, with 5 field goals. They didn't even score a touchdown in that NFC championship.
My point on the Tua thing, I say that kind of tongue-in-cheek. The 49ers have won games with Brock Purdy, and nobody expected that to happen.
Right.
But with the Dolphins and Tua, they're going on the road and they're playing probably the best team in the AFC. And they don't just have to play the Bills. They got to play all of society because of the Damar Hamlin situation.
Yes.
So I guess my point is there's people in Miami going, why are we even going up there? Right? This is going to be ugly. And I think it will be ugly. When they announced Tua was out on Wednesday, the line went from Bills by 8 to Bills by 13.5.
13.5, yep.
At Bet Regal. So
yeah, 13.5 is that spread, and it's going to get ugly. And like you said, they got to play all of society. They not only have to play the Bills, they have to play all society with the Damar Hamlin situation. And kudos to Damar Hamlin, and his T-shirt sales are going to be off the hook. His foundations has brought in a lot of money, and I'm so happy that he's out of the hospital. Does he play? Do you think he plays again?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask if he played in this game. That's a really good question. If it's up to him, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance. I didn't think he'd survive it, dude.
Me neither.
I did not think he'd survive it. And you look at what you've been through, and I haven't been through in my life what you've been through, but I've been through some stuff too. And for Damar Hamlin to have been saved, there's a reason for that. And his purpose might not be playing football anymore.
Yeah.
It's to be an inspiration to people that have been through stuff like this. I don't know. Football right now shouldn't even be his focus, I don't think.
And you know what gets lost in the whole Damar Hamlin situation? What he's not only is he doing for his foundation, but for his hometown of Pittsburgh.
Well, honestly, I didn't even know who he was until this year. He was a fringe player. I don't even think he started 30 games for the Bills going. He's on, what is he, in his second year?
Yes.
So I didn't know too much about the guy. But the more you read, you realize this is a solid dude now. He was raising money and doing things for the community long before he was Damar Hamlin. You know what I mean? He's the real deal. He's the real deal, which just made people fall in love with him even more, which is why he's got God on his side and the Bills this Sunday.
Yeah.
So they're going to destroy the Dolphins.
Yeah, they are. They are. I don't see the Dolphins hanging with them. And you're right about the fan base and the media in Miami and how much of a roller coaster their emotions have been on. And as soon as they announced that Tua was ruled out on Wednesday, quick dive. And it was a quick dive, and it feels like they feel like it's a death blow. And in many instances it is.
We're going to find out.
Yeah, we are.
Pretty good rallying cry, but we're going to find out what this Dolphins team's all about. I mean, Brian, we could sit. That's one thing I've loved about spending all this time in America. In Canada, we talk about really one sport, hockey.
Right. Hockey.
In America, you guys got so much stuff between NFL, college football, hockey if you want, everything else. We could sit and talk about the Dolphins for 2 hours. I mean, they win if Tua plays, they lose if he doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's it. He's the whole team, and it's just interesting to look at Brian Flores being fired last year because he wasn't a Tua guy. And I'm like, how can he not be a Tua guy? How can he not be? He's the whole franchise,
Yeah, he is the franchise. But I'm looking forward to the game. I'm going to watch this weekend and hearing the results from the others. You got any games you're going to this weekend?
No, it's funny you say that because Ryan Leaf was on my show today, and as you probably know, heck of a story. He's doing college football analysis on ESPN. He's doing NFL color on Westwood One. He's doing studio stuff for Sirius XM. And I said, what's better, being at the game, calling it, or being in the studio? And he goes, oh, you can't beat walking into the stadium. You can't beat being there. And I'm like, okay, that's what you think. But I'm like, I just enjoy sitting here, right here. This is my set where we do the show every day, dude. We got a new backdrop there.
I love it.
Yeah. And I'm like, I only go to the games. I like to go because I want to, not because I have to.
Right.
So I'm not going to any NFL games. I think the Florida Panthers are home to the Vancouver Canucks Saturday night. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. The two games that I really want to watch in the NFL are the Dolphins and the Cowboys Bucks. And so the Panthers game Saturday night won't interfere with either. So that's my plan.
I haven't been to a hockey game since the Blackhawks clinched in 2015 against Tampa Bay. And boy, I thought I'd lost my ears and my throat at other championship games I went to in my hometown. That one, clinching on home ice. Oh boy, I thought I wouldn't make it out of there because people are so crazy.
You've been a little busy. You had a few things going on, and there's a little thing called COVID too. Yeah, which has limited our sports attending.
Yeah, so, it has.
What have you been going to live games in the last 6 months to a year?
I've done a lot of high school games.
I see that.
I covered Lewisburg College when I was back in North Carolina for a while. And remotely, I covered University of North Carolina, Greensboro. And there may be a chance I cover them again. But this time being at the stadium and not doing it remotely. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the spring plans are. That's Rod Pedersen, the man, the legend, the host of the Rod Pedersen Show. Always a pleasure to have you on, my man. I love you very much. Thanks for coming on today. Rod Pedersen joining us here on the program. Take a break. I'll give you my thoughts on the NFL playoffs, and then Clark Monroe will join me. We're going to talk some hockey.